Simon, good afternoon. My name is Ash Singh. I am an adopted son of Mayor Bloomberg, and I'm looking to invest. How are you doing today?
I'm good. So I'm Simon, and my company Medidex Inc. We're developing a telehealth platform for pharmacists. Historically, doctors have been the preferred medical profession for providing care, and other professions have lagged behind in the range of services they could offer and get paid for.
Mm,
But with increasing demand and costs in the healthcare system, there's a unique opportunity for pharmacists to expand the range of services they offer.
hmm
Um, so far, what we've done is we've built a mobile application and launched it on the app stores. And we have over 8,000 downloads and 350 active users with a 4.2 out of 5-star rating on the Apple App Store and
hmm
4.6 on the Android App Store.
Got it.
Our next step is to integrate this mobile app into a web portal that's supported by local pharmacists and pharmacies,
Got
so
it.
they can provide remote consult services to our existing users. So this will help benefit us because it'll increase our engagement for our existing users and
Mm,
also allow us to get a revenue stream by taking a transaction fee from the service.
understood. Understood. Thanks, Simon. Simon, what are you looking for? What do you need? What do you need from me?
Yeah, so what we need is twofold. We want to, speed up our development to reduce our time to market for our B2B platform, and then also money for help with regulatory costs, and then start up our marketing campaigns. And
Okay.
to do this, we're looking for somewhere between 75 to 100,000 to give us another 6 to 12 months to do that.
Oh, okay, that's it. All right, excellent. Thank you, Simon. Thank you for that, Simon. Let's give some feedback, and you can kind of see some feedback if from the crowd as well. Simon has given his pitch and would love to get feedback from the crowd in the chat, right? So feel free to give some feedback on how Simon can level up. So Simon, I'll tell you. Allow us to let me give you some thoughts, and as we do this, we always find that these sessions are really powerful if we can just give feedback in terms of what an investor might be thinking, okay, or even a potentially an advisor. And so one of the thoughts that was coming to my mind is, first of all, congratulations on what you've built. This is really fantastic. When we think about COVID-19 and what happened during the pandemic, our relationship very much changed with our pharmacists, right? I'd like to think that, especially in North America, right? And I think, it's very topical in terms of how you can level off the need for a human doctor, right? And it starts a lot on the tail end with the pharmacist. So my question to you was, you talked about lowering the need of a doctor and supercharging a pharmacist. Can you tell me a little bit about the areas that they supercharge and how that's going to impact the end user, right? If you are successful and, there's thousands and thousands of pharmacists that work independently as part of a pharmacy, et cetera, can you tell me a little bit about how they supercharge themselves, in what capacity via your app, and what kind of impact that can make to the end customer from a cost and efficiency perspective?
Yeah, so one way is right. Well, we have the tools built in to provide these services in a digital format, which right helps automate it and increase efficiency. And existing players in the industry, that's what they're trying to move towards anyway. Is right having digital tools and automating kind of their workflows.
Mm,
We'll be able to kind of provide those workflows for our customers, the pharmacists, uh,
yes.
and off the bat, allow them to kind of produce this kind of work output in defined ways. And there's already defined procedures and protocols, right, for pharmacists kind of to give care. A main one is medication reviews. So that's a big service pharmacists already do,
Yeah.
where and they could get reimbursed for. But we also see it as, being a sort of, initial level of primary care and triage, which might not exist right now in the sense of a reimbursable service, right? Where, you could just reach out for basic level questions. And this will kind of, that primary care service, which, you might not be able to get, a test or
Sure.
an examination, but it could at least, help reduce people going into the offices and also
Understood.
people, interacting with doctors through the telehealth.
Yes, yes. So, Simon, we're going to paraphrase some of the comments that are here in the live chat just to kind of give you a little bit of feedback. And then I have one other question I'd like to ask you as well, right? So, I think the definition of the exact type of customer. So, the pharmacists themselves, one question that was going through my mind is, are end users also going to have access to your app? Because, one of the elements around challenges that pharmacists have is ensuring that medication is fully taken and, consumed appropriately, right? So as you were speaking, I was wondering if there is kind of an end user component to your app. Okay. So that's my question to you. There's a couple of other questions here, but do you want to maybe answer that, Simon? And then I'll give you some other feedback, right?
Yeah, so there is definitely an end user component. And like we said, we already kind of have a mobile app for the consumer market.
Yeah.
And the other side is it's a cloud-based technology. So it allows you, right, to get data from the end users and then send it to the business users.
Understood. So when we think about this, there's a couple of other feedback points in the chat. One is around trying to get an emotional connection with it, because I think what you're building has a really strong emotional connection, Simon. Right? When you think about care and prescribing medications and stuff like that. So I'll try to bring in a little bit of that in my pitch back to you as well. In terms of again, that overlap, right? So there's some things that doctors might not want the pharmacists to do, and vice versa. So it might be good just to kind of understand some of the boundaries. When I think about what you're doing, if I understand correctly, part of your secret sauce is to create the most efficient automated workflows for pharmacists. And so through that journey, they're going to be able to allow technology to support them, and tasks that would normally, take 5 or 10 minutes to do can be broken down and efficiently done in bulk so that, they can take on more work, okay, have better access to information and data so their process of prescribing is better. And through the whole value chain, their end customer is also going to have better outcomes in terms of health as well as lower price, Simon. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. And then also it's part of this trend to move the healthcare system from like silos to an integrated, right, system where
Sure.
you're not just looking at that one point where one person is giving care, but providing, right, constant support and needs.
Yeah. And if you're successful, Simon, how much more efficient would the marketplace be, right? Because obviously you have hospitals, you have doctors, you have pharmacists, you have aftercare, you have nurses. But if you just got what you're doing correctly, have you thought about your big picture? Like, how much more efficient would this process be? How much money would an average American in New York save if you were able to get what you're doing right?
So it's a good question, and the reason why this is kind of not done, a lot of the benefits are seen long term. So and the benefits, at least from a financial perspective, for the insurance companies and the financiers. So there's been a lot of research, and pharmacist-based intervention do lead to improved overall outcomes in the long term and reduced costs. And it usually takes 2 or 3 years of having the service available to actually see those benefits. So our goal is to convince these financier organizations that it'll take some upfront investment to provide these services to their patients, but in the long term, their actual costs are going to go down and their outcomes are going to improve.
Got it. And who is your customer then, Simon? Is your customer the pharmacist or the insurance companies? How do the insurance companies play a role in what you're doing?
Yeah, and so this is a big challenge, for us and anybody in this industry where, healthcare service, a lot of it revolves around reimbursement. And
Yes,
even if you're in a nationalized kind of healthcare system.
of course. Of
So
course.
they play a big role, and really our goal is to, one, make our customers happy, but two, gather that data and then kind of prove our point to the financiers that we can save them money and they should provide our services to their existing insurees.
Yes.
And if the national healthcare system, to the citizens of your country, for instance.
Yes, understood. Because that efficiency thing is still, I want to make sure that comes out in your pitch, right? Because that efficiency element matters, right? Lowering the cost of, whether we're talking about chronic illness or if we're just talking for kind of just general care, right? Because I know that you had there's an element of, people that are dealing with chronic illnesses that have even a bigger challenge, right? For those of people that are familiar in the healthcare space. But, that efficiency piece, I think, really needs to come out. I also feel like, the data component to this, right? I feel like, when I speak to my pharmacists today, they're still kind of living in the 1970s, every customer is an individual customer. Every person that they speak to, right? It's the same manual workflow over and over again. But Simon, there should be some way to do some pattern recognition, correct? Do you know? Is that something that you have in your product as well, where, you look at somebody and, like, I'll give you an example for myself, right? I'm a 40-year-old guy that throws out my back all the time because I forget to stretch when I play sports with my kids, right? So there must be a lot of guys that are just like me that are coming in, and there must be a kind of a process and a flow to kind of map that out from an intelligence perspective. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I would say, that's our product probably isn't advanced enough to start doing that yet, in the sense of, kind of analyzing that data and crunching it. And but what I would say is right, kind of building those types of things, does improve efficiency. And right now, if you go to your pharmacist, there's no, official service offering of like, hey, come sit with us, come talk with us. So by kind of providing, that kind of protocol to follow for them, it'll, enable that service better, because, the customers will know what they're getting. Right.
Yes.
There'll be those kind of, 2-3 steps outlined for them. Here's your, instructions, but in the back end, it's a workflow. Yeah. Got
it. Understood. Simon, would you like me to pitch your idea back to you?
Yeah, sure.
Has anyone ever pitched your idea back to you, Simon?
I don't, probably, here and there off the cuff, but
it's always nice to hear somebody else pitch your idea back to you, right? Because then you can kind of hear it from a different context. So I will attempt to do that right now, Simon. I'm going to pitch your idea back to you. You're looking for $100,000, Simon? Do you need more money? I feel like you need more money. When you were thinking about marketing, and that was another thing, in terms of the ask, and it's always good to kind of have a strong ask at the end. Is 100,000 enough, or do you think you might need a little bit more capital?
I think it's enough to get us where we're going, but not with a lot of cushion. So it might be good to kind of bump that number up.
Bump that up, yeah. That's just my sense. This is what I'm feeling based on where you're putting money, because cost of acquisition for marketing in the medical space is pretty high, right? Especially in places like New York, right? So this is just thought process I was having in my head as you were talking. So what I'll do is we'll hit the top of the elevator, and Simon, you get to be a fictitious, very successful investor. Anywhere you want, you introduce yourself, and I will pitch the Medidex platform to you. Okay, so we're going to hit the top of the elevator, and there's going to be some feedback in the chat. Continue to look at that and continue to evolve, and let's see where things go. Right? How big is the pharmacy platform, by the way? How big is the industry? Before I start, go ahead.
Pharmacy services, like, they're wide ranging. So one statistic we like to look at is medication therapy management, which is kind of a specific service. It's estimated to be a global $6 billion globally by 2025.
So it's a big market, because we didn't talk about that as well, right? So I think just understanding how much of an impact that you're playing in does matter, right? Just so people kind of get a sense in that. But I suspect that just the pharmacy market in general in the United States must be a multi-billion-dollar market, right? There's a lot of medication, right, in North America as well, right? So it's important to know. So we're going to hit the top of the elevator soon. Everyone else that's watching, that are joining us live on our platforms, feel free to give feedback. But Simon, we're hitting the top of the elevator, so you can introduce yourself, and I'll give my pitch. Over to you, sir.
Hey, Ash, this is Simon, and I'm interested in hearing about your company.
Yeah, Simon, really great that you've been able to make time, and great that we could connect today. My name is Ash Singh, and I'm part of the Medidex platform. As you know, during COVID-19, the world kind of transformed, and we've discovered that there are some real big pain points in the medical space. Our relationship with our doctors, our hospitals, as well as our pharmacies evolved and changed, and we have built a digital platform now that's going to help alleviate the stress on the primary care, the frontline workers that were at the hospitals. We've discovered that there is so much room for improvement for pharmacists to evolve here in 2020. We have created a platform on Medidex to have digital workflows that help pharmacists understand their customers better, enable them to prescribe medication and understand their prescription processes a lot faster. And through that journey, we feel that we can make them as much as 40% more efficient. This is going to have drastic impact for the insurance industry, the pharmacists themselves, and ultimately people that are paying for healthcare. I want to talk to you a little bit about what we've built to date, because we have some great traction, and where we need to go to make a definitive impact in the pharmaceuticals, in the pharmacy space. We're looking for around $250,000 to go to the next level, and I'd love to chat to you a little bit more over a coffee to see how we are going to impact this multi-billion-dollar industry. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
All right. So that was, you don't have to give me feedback, by the way, guys. I'm just helping Simon out, okay? But Simon, I wanted to kind of bring all the elements together in terms of what's happening now, how big the industry is, what we actually do for them, right? These workflows, right? These digital workflows, and how much time we save for them, okay? How much more capacity can they have? And what are the tangible impacts to them, as well as the ecosystem in general, And so that was the goal on it. So hopefully there's a couple of sound bites there for you, Simon, that you might find value in, Again, thank you for joining. Congratulations on what you've built. And we look forward to continuing to be part of your success, Simon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.